I had some time to test the brand new Google Pixel Watch 4, and I have to say it's already shaping up to be potentially the best Android watch of 2025. So in this video, I want to give you my first impressions and 15 things to know about this watch, both good and bad, so you can decide if it's going to be the right watch for you. Starting off with number 15, Google's trying to fix the smartwatch, trying to save the smartwatch with one of the biggest problems in smartwatches being the one-day battery life. Now, Apple and Samsung tackled that with their Ultra watches, which not everyone likes because they're giant watches, but Google's saying, hey, we can do this just in a regular watch. Thanks to their dual chip architecture, they have a Snapdragon W5 Gen 2, so a very fast chip for any kind of demanding tasks, and they have a second chip that's doing a lot of the more chill stuff that you don't need a lot of power for. So as a result, you're getting 25% longer battery life. In the larger of these two watches, you're getting 40 hours in regular mode and 30 hours with the smaller version. So there are two sizes, 41 millimeters and 45 millimeters. And like I said, they're maybe marginally thicker, but they really feel like a regular smartwatch. They don't feel like a giant, bulky Ultra watch like the Samsung and Apple ones. So that is a huge positive. Along with that, the biggest problem with the Ultra watch is that you take them off and they take absolutely forever to charge. Like, I can take my Galaxy Watch Ultra off when I shower, and in about 20 minutes, it'll maybe gain 30% battery, as I mentioned in my previous video. This actually has a new charger for the Pixel Watch, so that's kind of mixed feelings on that. I'll explain that in a second, but the positive is that you can charge from 0 to 50% in just 15 minutes. So if you wake up, you shower, brush your teeth, and get dressed, I mean, I don't know how long it takes you. For me, it's probably about 15 minutes, and you already have basically an entire day of battery there. So the new charger also gives you a nice little time display. So unlike the old one where it sits on a little puck, it now sits sideways on here. So you set it down, it's pretty satisfying, pretty strong magnet, and it gives you a little clock display. So maybe that's a nice thing to have. Like, I don't really have a functioning clock in my bathroom, so that's kind of a nice thing when I'm showering, just kind of glance out, see what time it is. The downside, it's a new charger, so it's not compatible with old chargers. If you bought older Pixel Watch chargers, you're gonna have to buy new ones with the Pixel Watch 4 or just use only one that's included in the box. And the other downside is that there is no wireless charging. If you're traveling, you now need to bring another charger. You can't charge this on the back of your phone. Not that you could on other Pixel Watches, but older Galaxy watches could do that, and it seems like the industry is moving away. Like, no watches really do that anymore. Moving on to number 13, the display is like a kind of domed, like waterfall style display, and I know people don't really like that as much on phones. I still think it's pretty cool, but on a watch, it does give you the illusion of a really, really large display. You basically can't see the bezels, so 10% larger display, 15% slimmer bezels, and it is 50% brighter than before at 3000 nits. Now, the domed display means you can look at it from different angles and you're still able to see kind of a lot of the watch. Kind of an interesting style here, and I'm excited to use this on a daily basis and see how well that actually works. Number 12, this is a big one. This is actually a repairable watch by the user. You could go in somewhere or you could do it yourself. You can now replace the display and the battery, the two most likely things to break or not last on your watch. And this is absolutely huge. I forget the exact numbers, but Google said that after the watch stops being supported with software, they still support the hardware, I think for maybe another five-ish years. Like, don't quote me on that, but I know it's going to be a pretty long time that they will be supported. So all you have to do is take this strap off, and there's two screws, one on each side, and they're just small Phillips head screws. You could do it yourself. Apparently, it doesn't affect the IP rating. There's no heat required to take it apart. There's no adhesive. There's just little O-rings and gaskets that apparently you can take it apart, replace the battery or replace the display, put it back together, and you're good to go. Good as new for the Pixel Watch 4. Number 11, this is the first smartwatch ever, and this is really exciting in my opinion, to have standalone SOS. Now, this is something that hopefully nobody ever really needs to use, but it's really nice to have if you're off grid. And I know a lot of phones already have this, but maybe your phone dies, or maybe you fall, God forbid, you break your leg, you're somewhere that you can't access your phone, but you have a watch literally attached to you. This is able to call for help using satellite for the SOS essentially, but it only works on the LTE model. Google explained that to me because it's essentially using the architecture for LTE. It's using that modem, so that's why you need the LTE model for that. I think it's free for the first year. I'm not sure if they're ever going to charge for that, but at least right now, you don't have to pay for that. Along with that, you're still getting all the usual Pixel kind of got your back type stuff. So fall detection, loss of pulse, and car crash detection, of course, are still on this watch. Number 10, the design looks familiar, but there are some changes. So we still have Gorilla Glass on the front. We've got aluminum. That's a little bit of a concern for me. Those are relatively soft materials. Like, Gorilla Glass is great, but aluminum is a relatively soft material. I'm a little bit worried about the domed glass getting damaged. I've damaged a ton of watches like this, rock climbing, for example. You just like hit your wrist on something, and because there's no bezel around there to protect it, you could potentially damage the glass. It's replaceable, which is awesome, but something worth considering. It's also still IP68 water resistant, still 50 meters of water resistance again for swimming, and it has 15% stronger haptics. So that's gonna be nice for notifications, I guess. Like, I felt it too. The haptics are definitely a lot stronger, very noticeable, and it feels pretty clean. They also have an upgraded speaker on here. Once I have this in the studio, by the way, I'll do a speaker test. I'll do like speed tests. I'll do every, heart rate, GPS accuracy test. A lot of testing to be done. If you want to see that, definitely get subscribed. I'm excited. I'll also be making some pretty big comparisons with this watch and other Android-based watches. Moving on to number 9, there's some big improvements for workout tracking. Last year it was already pretty accurate for running, so I expect it should be again, but now we have a lot more like AI-style stuff on here. And it's, of course, it's gonna be a buzzword, kind of sifting through what's good and what's not good. The AI coaching is something that Samsung kind of already had for a long time, where it'll help you maintain target speeds while you run, but there are going to be some pretty substantial changes in the Fitbit app that I'll mention in a second. Another kind of machine learning or AI thing, if you want to call it that, is that it's able to auto detect a lot of different workouts, not just, running, cycling, and walking, but rather if you do, like if you play soccer a lot, or if you do something, I think it need to do it like 2 or 3 times, it'll recognize, all right, this is what it feels like for the watch when you're doing that sport. And if you don't track it sometime in the future, it'll recognize it and say, hey, I think you were just playing soccer. So it's kind of a cool way to automatically detect workouts beyond just, walking, cycling, and running, which watches have been doing for a little while. Also, if you are cycling, this is pretty cool. You're able to stream the workout from your watch to your phone. So if you have your phone mounted on the front of your bike, it's kind of nice to have a heads-up display. Anyone who's done a lot of cycling knows that like turning your wrist like that and trying to look is not only really difficult, but also potentially dangerous. So I end up like riding with one hand or no hands to look at my watch. And again, not ideal when you're cycling, especially if you're trying to really stay in a heart rate zone. It's kind of nice to have a phone in the front. Number 8, there is now a dual band GPS on here. So working out in a city or anywhere with tall mountains on either side, that is going to be a huge improvement in GPS accuracy, or at least I would expect it to be. Again, I will test it when I have it. Number 7, sleep tracking is now 18% more accurate, according to Google. I mean, whatever that means. There's also a next-gen temperature sensor on here, so I believe that it hopefully should be more accurate. It's going to be better, allegedly, at specifically tracking REM and deep sleep. That's really what they wanted to focus on here, and I respect that, because when you're trying to calculate like your readiness score or how well you are recovered from the previous day, like deep sleep and REM are really, really important, possibly the most important part of your sleep to track accurately. Number 6, remember what I was saying before about like the Fitbit app kind of update? So they have like a personal AI health coach coming to Fitbit. It's starting in October, so they didn't even have a demo to show me yet, but essentially like you'll be able to ask questions using like a typical LLM format, so almost like ChatGPT or Gemini in the Fitbit app. So you could ask it questions about like, all right, how do I improve my HRV? Can you give me a workout for this? And different things like that. And a little spin-off here, anyone who's used the previous Pixel watches, I swear nobody at Google has ever done this, but I did a lap swing workout, like a pool workout with the Pixel watch, and I mean, I don't know how nobody at Google never noticed this. It is the worst workout on the entire watch. Like the only thing it shows you is the elapsed time. It doesn't show you laps. It doesn't show you any relevant information. Just it's like a timer. It's like a stopwatch that it's tracking. So allegedly, they are fixing it. They showed me like the new version. It's gonna come in October. So they showed me like a beta of it. And it is able to track swim workouts and actually count laps like a normal smartwatch. Number 5, talking about different UI improvements. Material U does look different. I don't have a whole lot to say about this. It's just different. Colors are more vibrant. It's a little bit more glanceable. Everything you're doing on there just looks a little bit better. Like it was already pretty solid before, but now I have to say that it's a little more colorful, a little bit more readable, and they use the space slightly better than they did in the past. Number 4, this is actually a really big one, and I'm excited to see how much I actually use this. It's gonna take a little bit of training to really get used to this. So of course they have Gemini on this watch. No surprise, Samsung added Gemini. Google is definitely adding Gemini on this watch, and it's able to do a lot, but rather than having to, summon it using any words or press and hold a button to do that, you can actually just lift to speak. So you just lift the watch up and you talk to Gemini, and apparently it's very good at rejecting when you're not trying to do this. Like it's apparently very good at knowing when you want to. I mean, I'm gonna have to test this and see how much it actually triggers when I'm like driving or get some car karaoke and Gemini has, starts talking back to you because maybe your hand's up here. I don't know. Like, I'm excited to see how good that actually is, but the concept of like, all right, I could just lift up and talk without having the Hey Google thing, kind of nice, I guess, but at the same time, it's not that hard to say Hey Google. Like, we'll see. Leave a comment and let me know what you guys think about that. Number 3, suggested replies are now contextual and AI based. Something that a lot of other companies are kind of doing this anyway, like Samsung's been doing this. And it's nice that you don't just have like yes, no, okay as text replies, and you don't have to use the keyboard or voice typing. Now you can just look and it's like based on whatever the text was to you, you're able to reply. And this is something that works on any app that had suggested replies. So a lot of like WhatsApp or Signal or Facebook Messenger, a lot of the apps that would normally already have suggested replies will be getting this. So it's not only Google Messages. It's kind of a cool feature. So it is like contextual for those replies. Number 2, Gemini, like I said, I guess I already said this one. Gemini is on here. It's very advanced. You're able to do a lot of things. So you're able to ask questions. You're able to also kind of manage your watch much like you are on the Samsung watches. So it's nice to say like, hey, start a workout, do these other things. And again, because watches are so small, it's one of the biggest features I've been using on the Galaxy Watch Ultra for the past month or two now. And then number 1, the pricing remains the same as last year. I'm not going to read out all the numbers because it depends on where you are in the world. I'll have some links down below and some other details if you want to see to learn more about the Pixel Watch. So thanks for watching the video. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you think about this new Pixel Watch, and I'll see you guys in that full review. Get subscribed if you haven't already.